Welcome back to Nicholas Comic Corner Classic, less known classics. This is episode number 25, no, excuse me, 2602, Doubleshot number 2496. First story we have is Alpha Flight Classic Volume 2. This collects issues from Alpha Flight Volume 1, issues 9 through 19, along with the Kenny X-Men 108. Now, we have a lot of stuff that are going on here. Let's get started. So, by the way, we still have written drawn by John Byrne. Chris Conway does the Kenny X-Men issue. Mostly put in issue 9, we have Sasquatch versus the Thing. Yep. Yeah, take on the Thing. Yeah, a very interesting issue. There's also a backup feature here with Amora. Now, in these issues, Amora finds out that Northstar is her twin brother. The fact these two are adopted by two different families. They also reveal the reason why that happened. Why she was adopted by somebody else, not the same family he grew up in. The reason why is because the family adopted Northstar could not afford to adopt both children. So they adopt one of them. And eventually on, they do reunite, and of course they reconcile back to being siblings. We also see the debut in these issues of Talisman. Yep, Talisman, the daughter of Shaman, makes his debut in these issues, mostly because she's like an archaeologist, or she's investigating the skull, and she wants to go visit her father, Shaman. Who apparently, not only being the superior shaman, apparently his secret identity is that he is an actual, he's an actual doctor of medicine. And he's actually seeing a patient. I think he was just finishing a patient when he's reunited with his daughter. He hasn't spoken to his daughter in some time. It was great to see her. And we also have stuff going here with the Hudsons. Yes, the Hudsons. Where they're after a mission where they go to New York, where James is going to pick up his wife from the airport. And she's taken away by a guy by the name of Janix, who works for Raxon. Yes. Yeah, and they mentioned here with the chairman of the Raxon Corporation. The CEO doesn't make his debut until 2010s, where it's revealed it's a Minotaur. Yeah. Thank you, Jason, for that. That was actually awesome. So, yeah, it turns out this guy, apparently, somehow, he was deemed, a failure because something that Guardian did to him at some point. So, he was fired from his job, and also that his wife took the kids and left him. Because of going on here, and then eventually he nearly committed suicide, so he ends up in a wheelchair and gets hired by Raxon to exact his revenge on the Hudsons. But apparently when he perceived what they did to him, so he proceeds to form an evil group of Alpha Flight known as Omega Flight. You're thinking, Omega Flight, that name sounds familiar. Wasn't the name of a miniseries from 2007? Yes, except that was not the same Omega Flight. That was an version of them. The original one is comprised of people who were part of the disbanded Gamma and Beta flights, basically trainee programs, who won their revenge on Alpha Flight. And this continues in issues 11 and 12. 12 has the shocking cliffhanger of Death of Guardian. You know, the leader of the team. Also, he has an assistant in the book where her name is Dolphin Courtney. That's her name. A very beautiful woman who turns out, thanks to Heather scratching her face, reveals she's actually a robot. A feminine robot. And get this, her boss, who she suspects might have everything for her, does not know she's a robot. Nope. He never finds out because the guy dies in issue 12. He made his debut actually in issue 2. So we get follow up with that, and then by issue 13, we get the funeral, and then of course Heather informs the Canadian government of what happened to him. Of course, they're wondering where's your husband? he's dead. And they're wondering like, what can you do for your service signature? It's like, yeah, apparently not much, anything at all. Which I'm like, really? He died for your. He died for the Canadian. He died for the country of Canada, and you're doing nothing for him. What a piece of bullcrap is this? Later on, Heather does eventually put on her late husband's costume and becomes Guardian, later Vindicator. Yep. So also, Puck has this thing where he also forms Maria, who was actually with Namor, and Namor ends up proposing to her in these issues, and before she accepts, she's called away, and yeah, she ends up marrying Namor very briefly until the events of Avengers 293, which basically that was when she was supposed to declare dead, and then it was revealed during Kurt Busiek's run that she's actually alive and well. Yeah, and there's also these issues we see the return of the Master of the World. First time we see him since issue 3 of the series. Yeah, he comes back, and of course, like, oh, how did you survive? Viewers already knew he survived. He basically got away. And then Namor basically getting into a fight with him, and Puck knocks off his helmet to reveal he's got a gooey head. Yes, Master of the World has got a gooey head. And eventually he's defeated the storyline. Also, this is prior to this, basically Mara went nuts and tried to attack the man she loves. But Namor basically ends up calming her down. One thing I do appreciate about John Byrne he does with this book, he makes Namor a recurring character in this book while keeping Mara kind of with Alpha Flight. Despite the fact he's over Avengers. Yeah. So, also, the Power Man Age apparently didn't exist on official records, which to me doesn't make much sense given the fact later on it's official branch of the Canadian government. If you wonder about the Power Man Age is mostly put the agency that Alpha Flight works for a lot of the time. There's even an issue in here where it's a flashback to issue 120. With basically the debut of Alpha Flight. Yeah, for some reason we had to do that for some reason. Mm-hmm. Yep. But these issues just more pure awesomeness by John Byrne. Yep. Also, we show off this character named Douglas Thompson. Yes, he's a guy who there's a thing with him and Snowbird where he admits to her that he's in love with her, and you might be thinking, did they get together? Yes, they do. Yeah, and eventually, well, when he returned in issue 15, it was the first time he'd been seeing the book since like issue 6. And, well, he comes back in issue 18 and, of course, basically continues from that point forward as a recurring character till issue number 44. And I'm not going to get into basically the reason for that. I do like the fact that not only Marina gets herself a guy, Snowbird gets one. Puck does not get love interest in these issues. Nope. And, of course, we have the Hudsons having together. Yep. Yeah, and then of course basically like 117 is mostly put just a flashback to the events of 109, but it takes place before the events of Giant X #1. Issue 18 is a whole attempted romance between Snowbird and Doug. And by issue 19, basically, Talisman takes her identity as that. Her real name is Elizabeth, and it becomes Talisman. Though her outfit is completely different nowadays, where her outfit's a tad bit more revealing than it was before. Yeah. They, at times, basically, whenever she uncovers, she tends to be like very much basically a little more frontal stuff, like basically like on the cover of Alpha of Mega Flight, I think it was. Where like her belly is a bit more exposed, so it looks like she shows off a six pack. Oh, by the way, the one who this group yeah, and that villain, the hero version of Alpha Flight, they get disbanded by issue 10 of Jonathan Hickman's run for Avengers. But this book was really, really good. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Get this book a 10 out of 10. Next up we have is Showcase Presents Aquaman Volume 2, which collects the following issues. World's Finest, 130 to 133, 135, 137, 139. Aquaman, number 7 through 23. And Brave and Bold, 51. Yeah, a lot of these, in the case of World's Finest issues, which just features Aquaman and Aqualad just working together to battle various different creatures, including aliens, a lot of the time. Yeah, there's even, yeah, well, it's not exactly like regular Silver Age goofiness. It's mostly put just some semi-serious stuff, but not too serious. There is one issue, 133 debuts the second ever Aqua Girl. Yep, the second ever one. And this one herself would never see her again. This one is Selena, and she decided to make people think she was in love with Aquaman, despite the fact she's actually in love with a guy named Maron. The only reason why she did that was to make him jealous, which worked. And by the end of the issue, she ends up marrying her husband, the guy, Mary Maron, and she's never seen again until they basically brought her into the current continuity thanks to Dark Crisis. Yep. But it's a lot of basically like standalone issues. And then by Aquaman issue number 11, we have a historical note issue of this one. What is so important about Aquaman number 11? Aquaman number 11 is the debut of the future wife of Aquaman, Mira. And there's a guy she's here with a guy named Zabel. You're thinking, wait, Zabel? As in the rogue Atlantean colony? Probably the same name per se. But yeah, and apparently she's from a place called Dimension Aqua. That was the Flashpoint continuity related to this character. Yeah, so this guy Zabel, who's on Dimension Aqua, he only appears. He basically appeared just a few times. He appeared in issue 11. He is appearing into issues 58 60. Yep. Now, Mira herself, at this point in time, would only just appear in the pages of Aquaman. Excuse me. She never appeared in any book outside of this one. Nope, not really. I do not know why this is. It's just that's kind of how they basically put her at that point in time. Mm-hmm. Yeah. By issue number 18 after series Ventures, at one point you also have Aquaman briefly rule Atlantis because he basically was boasting he was king of Atlantis, even though he really wasn't. Issue 18 is another historical issue for the series, is that this is not a debut, this is basically a historical event, this one. This is the wedding of Aquaman and Mira. Though, also in the issue, there's potential suitors, but the only woman Aquaman wants is Mira. And also in the issue, in order to make her allowed to become Queen of Atlantis, she's named honorary citizen of Atlantis and basically Aquaman's wife. And then by issue 23, we debut a very tragic character, the Aqua Baby, Aquaman Mira's son, Arthur Curry Jr. Now, I should point out, though, this kid would not be the only offspring of Aquaman. He would have two more sons, not with Mira in this continuity. Oh no, he had it with different women. But a lot of the issues here are basically what it is. But in the case of World's Finest, this is a really fun one. World's Finest. No, World's Finest. In the case of the Brave and Bold issue, we have Aquaman team up with Hawkman to take on this creature named Tyros for an issue, which is so awesome. And that's by Bob Haney who does this issue. Yep. Now, a lot of the main issues for, like, the World's Finest, if you're curious who was the writer of these issues, the guy who writes them is the guy, of course, is Bob Haney writing these issues this period of time. You're thinking Bob Haney, did he create any characters for DC Comics? He did. He created Metamorpho, the Enchantress. He also created the Teen Titans. Yep. He also has unofficial credit for creating the New Patrol. He also created the original Super Sons. Not the ones we have nowadays. No, it's a different team. Yeah, and basically, he would become like the regular writer for Aquaman for a while. Yeah. Bob Haney himself is no longer alive. Passed away in 2004, roughly 20 years ago. For Aquaman himself, he would basically celebrating the main book, issue 25. So that'll happen. I'll talk about that basically next time. But Brave and the Bold, he had been writing that book since issue number 4. Where it was a complete different type book for what it was. He did skip the issues where it features some other characters, but yeah, he's basically been written for Brave and Bold into issue 157. But excuse me, but World's Finest. What do you rate all these issues for World's Finest? For 130, that would be the only issue he would write. But who would write the other issues? Well, for 131, it is... If I can get to it here. Jack Miller, who does 131. 132 is David Wood. 133 is Jack Miller again. Yeah, they would basically have a rotating door writers with this one. Yes, a rotating door writers. Okay, but here's a good question. Who wrote Aquaman number 7? Nick Cardy. Nick Cardy. Yep, Nick Cardy. That'll be the person who writes this book. Actually, he'd be the penciler. They actually do not give a credit for who writes the book. Nope. But he'd be the penciler. Oh, yeah. He basically was the penciler, from what I can tell, the first, pretty much the entire Silver Age for Aquaman before he switched over to, with issue number 40 with Giampero. Or become booking a little more serious because we're entering the Bronze Age for that one. Yeah. But these issues are actually pretty good. Nothing really wrong here, per se. Aside from the fact we actually have a few noteworthy appearances this one. Next time, however, when I'm talking about Aquaman, which, yeah, we're going to be talking about some very interesting ones. Let's see if I can find it here. Oh, yeah, also in these issues, we also debut Mira's twin sister. Yep, her twin sister makes her debut in these issues. She makes her appearance in. Let's see. She made her first appearance Aquaman 22. Yep. That's pretty much in the way where she made her debut there. And she only appears one time. Where she looks exactly like her sister. And then she pops up post. I mean, after this one appearance, Mira's sister is never seen again until Brightest Day. That's not a joke. It seriously is true. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But yeah. I'm going to give Shoker's Aquaman roughly a 9 out of 10. Um, Purely because, actually, I give it 9.5 because there's a lot of historical issues with this one. So, next time, however, when it talk about Aquaman, let me take a look here about this one. Because, however, next time we'll see the debut of the two primary Aquaman villains. Who are they, you might ask? Well, you'll find out next time. We're going to discuss this book again. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, so that's going to be pretty much it for particular review. There probably going to be an review later on when I finish this one book I'm working on. So please be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Okay, next video. Bye.